उसको शांति क्यों ना हो उसका मन मगन विश्वापति के ध्यान में। काम क्रोध लोभ मोह शत्रु है ये महाबली। काम क्रोध लोभ मोह शत्रु है ये महाबली। इनके हनन के वास्ते जितना हो तुझसे कर यतन विश्वापति के ध्यान में।
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Excuse me for a moment, please. I'm almost afraid to cough in class, Bharat. I'm afraid you're going to chase me with a stick. He has done so much to prevent me from coughing. Yes, I did stop taking your medicine. I thought it will go away. I'll start again. Please don't chase me with a stick. Um, so, what were we doing? We were doing the starting point. So, what is our starting point to become unselfish in life? Bill Brown, are you new to class? I think I've seen this name for the first time. Bill, are you there? And Bridge Bharadwaj. We have two BBs today in class. Bill, are you Wendy's friend? Wendy, your friend? No? Okay. And Bridge Bharadwaj, are you also new?
I came a few months ago, but this is only my second time I've come to the class.
Okay, okay, welcome, Bill. So you know what we're doing. We're doing this book.
Right.
Okay. So, and Bridge Bharadwaj, are you also new to the class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, welcome both of you to the class. We are doing the happiness guarantee.
Thank you.
The portion we are currently on is okay. We were talking about the effects of unselfishness, how it gives you leadership, it gives you cheer, it gives you enthusiasm. So many outcomes of unselfishness we did. So, assumably, now we would like to become unselfish. So, to become unselfish, what is our starting point? There's, the starting point is to become aware of what we have received. And the more we start becoming acutely conscious of what we are receiving, the more we want to give back, the more we want to serve, the more unselfish we become. But it first starts like how much I have. In fact, if you start thinking about it, what we complain about tells us what we have. Remember the princess who could not sleep on a feathered bed. 16, I don't know, there's some story, right? They put 16 feathered beds and 16 beds, mattresses, and then 16 mattresses of soft down or some fantastic thing they did. But they put one pea at the bottom of it all. And that pea kept her up all night because she said, I'm bruised. Now, what we are complaining about tells us what we have. It's a very interesting phenomenon. If you just think, what are you complaining about? You will realize it's an indication of how much you have. For instance, a woman is complaining, for argument's sake, let us say, she is complaining that her husband didn't remember her birthday. But what does that imply? It implies he's not an alcoholic. It implies he's not suffering from a fatal ailment. He is working hard and, sort of financially okay. Because had any of these things been a problem, she wouldn't have been talking about the birthday being missed. Since all of these are okay, now she'll talk about, oh, you missed my birthday. And suppose he does remember the birthday. Now what will the complaint be? You didn't get me the right gift. So at every level, so if I'm complaining my husband didn't get me the right gift, it means that he has remembered and brought me a gift. So at every level of complaint tells you how many things are actually being taken care of. And once we start becoming so acutely aware of all these things, it becomes impossible not to serve. But that doesn't mean we treat the complaints unkindly. So, when we hear this, there's a tendency to say things like, oh, rich people like to complain. Or Easterners like to say Westerners, they love to complain. Or anyone in the South will complain that the North people complain too much. You know, everybody's looking upon other people complaining and saying, your complaint is not justified. Sometimes we look at ourselves. Yes, Deepraj, first world problem. A derogatory term, first world problem. Like, you guys have those problems because you got plenty of time to think about it. So these kind of things, you look at other people's lives and judge that your complaint is not justified. Sometimes we look at ourselves and say, my complaint is not justified. I mean, I'm not even kind to myself. But what we should do is recognize that if there's a complaint, there's a complaint. Who are we to say that this person should not be complaining about this? That moral indignation that human beings love to get into. So this thing is not meant to make us judgmental about others. It's only a matter of fact to show that what is there or not there. Now, the problem is this, the problem with these complaints. I hope this part is clear, should be extremely clear that nobody's complaint is unjustified. I hope that portion is clear. We are not standing in moral righteousness and says, you have a complaint and you are wrong. My complaint's always right. Your complaint's always wrong. If the person is miserable, if the person is agitated, well, then it is so. And we simply have to take their word for it. We don't know what they are feeling. How do you know that this person who you think is more entitled than us, or more rich, or more well to do, or happier than us, is not actually more miserable than us? How do you know? How? Therefore, let us not stand in judgment on somebody else's sorrow. But what we should learn out of it is that, guess what? Whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you're married or you're unmarried, whether you're educated or you're uneducated, whether you're in the global north or global south, whatever it is, the level of happiness cannot be gauged. Can you make the statement that all married people are happier than all unmarried people? You can't make the statement. And yet, if a person does want to get married, can you go and tell him that you think that by getting married you will be happy? Suppose you do go and tell him that, he will think, oh, then it's better to stay unmarried. So can you make this statement that all unmarried people are happier than married people? So the marriage or the non-marriage, the education, the non-education, the global north and global south, the rich, the poor, the men, the women, whatever it is, making no difference. Everybody has their problems. The only difference is the nature of it. The only difference. And yet, tragically, no deprived person can believe that even when his ardent desire, when he gets his ardent desire, he could be no happier. Can anyone believe it? And yet, tragically, no deprived person can believe that even when he gets his ardent desire, he could be no happier. Happiness is not about getting more, but being acutely aware of what one is currently in receipt of. If I don't know today how to be happy, how will I be happy? By being acutely conscious of what I'm receiving. If I do not cultivate this thing, then I could get anything in the world. It'll make no difference because I'll always find something to complain about. Because that's the nature of the world. Only when we get there, we will see the problem of it. Like suppose, suppose there's a young boy who needs a car. Okay, and you tell him, and he's like dying to get a car. You remember that story I told you? I heard this 40 years ago, but it, it's an interesting thing. Remember, I told you about this gentleman from Australia, Swamiji's host in Australia. So he picked Swamiji up from the airport and said, Swamiji, look, my new Rolls Royce. And he had bought this fantastic Rolls Royce. Fabulous car, so smooth, so soundless, fantastic. And he said, so Swamiji said, oh, congratulations, this must be very good. He said, yeah, it's good. But, I made a mistake. You know what he did was, because he was buying Rolls Royce, he decided not to go with the standard fittings. He decided he wanted leather seats, pure leather seats. Okay, nice design, whatever. So he paid extra to get this non-standard leather sheet, uh, non-standard leather seats. And he was telling Swamiji as they were driving back to his home, Swamiji said, such a quiet car. To which he said, Swamiji, don't you hear? It's so noisy. What do you mean noisy? Who's ever heard of a Rolls Royce and noisy? It's too irritating. What happened? He says, see, look, what? And then he said, okay, look, I'm going to do this turn again. So he did the turn again. And very carefully, Swamiji was listening. And he heard the slight sound, just on that turn, a very slight sound. So what happened? Let's see, I bought these leather seats and paid phenomenal cost because now it's not only Rolls Royce, it's custom Rolls Royce. Phenomenal. But every time I take a turn, that leather rubs against each other and makes a noise. So noisy. So what is the solution to this? He should come and sit in a rickshaw in Mumbai, I think. Then he will appreciate the silence of that Rolls Royce. But the thing is, it's very, for us, it sounds silly or noise because we're too far away from it. Should we have bought a Rolls Royce and those seats were making a noise that only I could hear, would I have complained? So, the thing is, he is now agitated with that. Now, can we judge him and say that, how dare you be agitated? Should you not? That's silly. But the fact is that no matter how good it gets, it's the nature of the world that kuch to kami rahegi. Something will be left. Can you ever get that? Kisi ko mukammal jahan nahi milta. Nobody gets a perfect world. Nobody. This is a famous song in India, Wendy Bill. I don't know if you've ever heard of Indian film music, but it's a very famous song. किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, किसी को जमीन तो किसी को आसमान नहीं. Nobody gets a perfect world. No, somebody doesn't get land, or somebody doesn't get the sky. But nobody gets a perfect world. So we have to get that. So then we're not surprised by imperfection. We're not against imperfection. It's just the way it is. And it will always be like that. So, what can I do about it? I can be one word:
Grateful.
grateful. Grateful for what I have. Train myself. It's not easy for the mind. Otherwise, the degree of complaint I have now, I will have the same degree no matter what else in this world I get. If I cannot be happy here and now, given whatever it is, I will not be happy even when I get that. So, how can you? The difficulty lies that no deprived person can believe that if I get it, I will be in the same state as I am now. And why can't he believe it? Because it's obvious. If I want an apple and I don't get an apple, I'm miserable. If I want an apple, I get an apple, I'll be happy. It sounds so obvious. You need an intellect to think beyond. If I want an apple, I don't get an apple, I'm unhappy. If I want an apple, I get an apple. But it's not the one I want. Again, trouble. I wanted Granny Smith, but I got Simla, some, I don't know. Right? So there's no end to this. Okay, I wanted Granny Smith, I got Granny Smith. But the Granny Smith had one portion which had a blemish on. I wanted Granny Smith, I got Granny Smith, it had no blemish on it. Then, is that the end? Will I not complain? I'll find something else to complain about. This is the nature of my mind, the human mind. Yes, Deepraj?
Yeah, along this line, if it's the nature of the mind, but the mind, like the thoughts in the mind, will be directed by the thoughts in the intellect. So, if we deliberate on this imperfect nature of the world, does it kind of make us more comfortable when our desires are interrupted?
It's not more comfortable. You will be uncomfortable, obviously, but you can take it in your stride. You realize par for the course. This is just the way it is. The discomfort is not exacerbated by the fact that now it's agitating me as well.
So that there will be a base level of discomfort because your desires are getting interrupted, but that agitation will not now blow out of proportion because you now understood the base reality of the situation.
You can say that. That's one, of course. The other thing is you take it in your stride. It's okay. I'm agitated. It's not the end of the world. It's like, all right, yeah, this is uncomfortable. Like if you are going somewhere and you're caught in a traffic jam. It's waste, sitting in the heat, sitting over there. It's uncomfortable. But it's par for the course, right? You get these traffic jams. If you live in a place that is populated, traffic jams is par for the course. Always be there somewhere. In Santa Cruz and and Khar, the area where we stay, there are the main road, of course, the two main roads, and then there are all these internal gully guchis, right? And all of us obviously don't want to take the main road and want to take the internal roads because main road has traffic and internal roads are not supposed to have traffic, right? That's where the buildings are. So people take the internal roads. I mean, anyone knows the locality, you take the internal. Now it takes one idiot to park one stupid car in one silly place for that place to get completely jammed. And then you're so jammed, nobody can move. Now, 9 out of 10 times when you go into the gully guchis, what is gully guchi? Now I better translate into this tiny by lanes. It's fine. That's why people take it. But one guy does something stupid, then everybody's stuck. So if you take the gully gucci, you have to know in your head, I have a 10% chance of this happening. And sometimes that chance will come through, right?
So, like, if I'm stuck in a traffic and I'm going back home and I want to rest, and that desire is getting interrupted, I have a agitation that I can take in my stride, maybe. Let's say I'm a person who can take that agitation in stride, but say I'm stuck in a traffic and I'm like getting late for a job interview, and this is a very important job interview, and I have this knowledge that, oh, I mean, this is just part of the course, this is just how these streets work. But now I'm stuck in a very bad place where I know the source of the agitation is internal, and yet I cannot stop the agitation for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's just
But already
that's
we know, no, all, by this example, whichever individual it is, we already know the person has a weak intellect. He knows fully well that this is the nature of the street. There'll be traffic. He knows this. Yet he has not given himself sufficient time for that traffic. He's made the first mistake. Now he'll be in traffic. He will get agitated. That's that. So, and to think that my life will be perfect and nothing will ever go wrong is a fundamental error of assessment. Something has to go wrong.
thank you.
Right. Now, shall we continue? So, and yet tragically, no deprived person will believe. When we say no deprived person, not somebody outside, we don't believe that. Think of anything you want. Do you believe that you will be happier if you get it? I can't believe that if I get it, I stand the chance of being no. Anything it could be. It could be health. It could be wealth. It could be relationships. For Jayashri, it could be
80 lakhs.
80 lakhs. 80 lakhs is our Maha Mantra nowadays. 80 lakhs to finish this phase. Think. Can we think that when we set up the campus, we will be no happier than we are today? Can we think that? Deep breath. Can you think this thought that when I finish my PhD, I will be no happier than I am today? Impossible, no? So tough. And yet that's a fact. See, you're not called upon to believe any of this, but you must recognize a fact when you hear it. Is it necessary that should X happen in my life, whatever it is, get my PhD degree, get my pension, get my graduation degree, be the same as I was before. See. That's why I'm not doing my PhD. Bharat, if it were true that all people who didn't do their PhD were happier than people who did their PhD, then what you're saying would be true. PhD is only one of the many things you're not doing, Bharat. There are more obvious ones which you have not done. So, none of these conditions can. You are happy because you study Vedanta. Everything else is only a, what should I say? Nice to have. Yes, Bharat.
Janki ma'am,
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
when one takes one stride,
Mm.
there is a pinch. How's the intellect compensates for it?
It doesn't. It takes it as a given that my mind will be agitated at some time. How is it going to be possible? I go my whole life, I'll not be agitated. How is this possible? Yes, I'm agitated.
But that time mind is more powerful, no, more pronounced. When there's agitation, the intellect subsides and mind overrides. So how's that time the intellect is going to play the role?
The intellect plays the role by simply keeping itself there. There is no problem in being agitated. Agitation is part of life, sorrow is part of life. How can you have life without sorrow, life without agitation? It is what people who claim that are, what is it nowadays? They have a term for it, toxic positivity. How can you have only one uh, side of life? You're in the middle. World is defined as, come on, quick,
Pairs
definition.
of opposites.
Opposites.
Pairs of opposites. Bill,
So
have you
the
ever studied Vedanta before? Bill Bridge, have you all studied Vedanta before?
No, ma'am. No.
Where are you from, Bridge?
I'm from Pondicherry.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In the sense, I'm based in Pondicherry now.
Okay.
And I'm otherwise from North India
Mm.
in Delhi. And I'm learning few things in Pondicherry which are akin to Vedanta.
Yes, of course. You
Yes.
had not attended the lecture at the Aurobindo ashram, had you?
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, not yet means it was a few months ago.
No, I didn't.
So one of the definitions of the world is pairs of opposites. This is a definition. What is the world? It is nothing but everything in this world is two sides of a coin. Where there is tall, there is short. Where there is day, there is night. Where there is summer, there is winter. Where there is profit, there is loss. Where there is happiness, there is sorrow. Where there is man, there is woman. There's all the world is defined as pairs of opposites. So you can't say, I will have only joy, I will have only goodness, I will have only something. You can't do that. It's not possible. So once you figured this out, you know that obviously I'm going to meet the other side. I will meet people who are fair. I will meet people who don't understand fairness. I will meet people who are polite, well mannered, cultured. I will meet people who are impolite, not well mannered, and uncultured, because that's the definition of the world. So once you get this, you figured this out. It may not be pleasant, but well, it's a fact of life. Like, for instance, every day, after every day comes night. Night brings us inconvenience. It's inconvenient. Daytime is more convenient than night. But you understand it's night now. What will happen after night? Day will be back. Or now you can put on a light or something. It is whatever inconveniences there are of night, that's that. So, what your intellect does is not deny the pain or suppress the pain or do something with the pain. All the intellect does is continue to be there. And that is what we're trying to achieve. That whatever sorrow you are going through or agitation you're going through, the intellect's decision or judgment or discrimination is not affected. This is what we have to get. We cannot get to a stage where we're always happy. How is this possible? Only the insane are always happy, and they too are not always happy.
That's true, Janki ma'am, but mind is a wave and we get only entangled in one part of the whole. So if there's a joy, 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 it keeps building up, and there's some sorrow, 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 it keeps building up. It is only intellect which knows that joy will pass and sorrow will come. So this building of wave, how we handle it?
Nothing to handle. It's there. Why do you have to handle it? What need is there to handle it? It is there. Feel it.
But the sorrow can reach to the threshold point, no, that one can.
Then cry. What else will you do?
Okay.
What are we to do with the sorrow? The sorrow is there. Let us
Yes.
say that something terrible has happened. Somebody has passed away. Somebody near and dear to you has passed away. Now sorrow is there. Now what am I supposed to do with the sorrow? It is there. I have to ride the wave. What else can I do? I can't pretend the sorrow is gone. I can't do anything to reduce the sorrow. It's not going to work. I have to feel the sorrow and understand that okay, it's a sorrowful time, and eventually even this will pass away. I don't have. I mean, the important point is not that I'm feeling sorrow. Important point is my intellect continuing to be there? That means no intellectual judgment of mine is being affected by the sorrow. That's the critical. What is there to be frightened of sorrow? Yes, there are unhappy days. This is it. This is one of the days I'm going through it. You're very dissatisfied with the answer. मैं क्या करूं अब?
No, I'm satisfied. Okay. Thank you very much.
You don't have to also. I mean, yes, it does seem like a horrible thing. Okay, now you've not given me any solution. You're just telling me be unhappy. How horrible is that solution?
Means you have to be objective, no, just watchful and observative. And that's only allow the wave to pass through.
Yes, what else can you do? You can't deny it. You can't say, I'm not unhappy. No, that's silly. You can't say, okay, I'm unhappy, I want to suppress this. No, it'll come up some other time. Feel it. Feel whatever the mind is feeling. What's the problem with that?
Ma'am, in this case, can we say there is something wrong with me, and should we do analysis like that, or should we say it's just a wave and it will pass away?
No. While you're under sorrow, if you can maintain your intellect, that's great. But 9 out of 10 times, that's not happening. Therefore, don't do analysis at that time. At that time, try to be more aware that I'm feeling this and just be gentle with yourself. Now, don't take on other additional things. Firstly, I'm unhappy. Then I'll say, oh, because of me only all this unhappiness came. Don't do all this round. Feel your sorrow. Don't exaggerate the sorrow. Feel unhappy. Unhappiness is part
Ma'am,
of life.
my intellect sometimes goes into an analysis. You must have done something wrong, or you are not leading a correct way of life. Otherwise, why is this sorrow coming?
This is not the time to think about it. If there is something wrong, if I have done something wrong, I'll think about it later on. This is not the time. See, it's almost like my leg is broken and I'm saying I should go for a jog. What sense is there in that? First, you let the leg heal, then you do your jogging. Similarly, your mind is going through sorrow. Now, don't overburden it with, oh, I'm so bad and I did all these wrong things. And chill.
Ma'am, but sometimes you don't do anything. Like there is no cause, a necessary cause, but still there's a lacuna that you're feeling inside. and your intellect is saying that why am I feeling this way? You're saying that I understood your point, that okay, don't analyze that at that point, analyze at a further point. First feel that feeling. But is this like a usual way of like life, that you feel that lacuna? Is that the usual way that we feel every day?
No, 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 it's not at all. Why would that be? You don't always feel it. The thing is, when we are doing something productive in life, when our day is too filled, you have no chance to feel like this. Especially when you're living a life of seva, basically, the lacuna comes lower and lower and lower. When you're young and you're still trying to sort of find your feet, obviously you feel a little bit more. But get into seva, do something productive, find yourself your vision. How would you like to serve, contribute? And over a period of time, the lacuna comes down. But you don't start bashing yourself up and say, oh my God, I'm not doing seva. All this is just nonsense.
Ma'am, I'm reading a classic book. I've finished 4 parts of it. It's called Point Counterpoint by Huxley. In that, one of the characters raised a point that basically you're using work just as a like how we use toys for babies. You're using it to distract the mind temporarily, and you're being productive. And after that, the mind is exactly the way it was. So
Yes,
basically, what's the point of being productive? I don't get it. I mean, yes, we have read the Gita, and yes, it's one of the ways that the soul progresses towards Brahman or self-realization. But what is the point of being productive? Unnecessarily, you're just working, working, working. You're just like for the time you're giving something to the mind so that it's not in sorrow, and after that once the work is taken, then your mind is exactly the way as it was in the past.
you're right. I wish I had that clip of Swami Chinmananda. He explained it so beautifully. He talks about the difference between labor and work. What you described is labor. Okay, I have to do work, I have to do work. I have to earn money. I have to do work and then I get this. This is all labor. This is a slavish mentality. What it is doing is it is temporarily distracting your mind. Your mind will eat you up if you don't work, if you don't do this labor. This has to be distinguished from work, which the Gita recommends, which the Ishavasya Upanishad recommends. Ishavasya Upanishad says, Kurvanne veha karmani jivisheshchatagum samaha. Kurvanni, kurvan means doing. Eva karmani, doing work. Indeed, jivisheshchatagum samaha. You should desire to live 100 years. So, what is work is very different from labor. What Aldous Huxley is talking about is labor. You see these rats on their treadmill and all these, what do you call it? They show, all the rats going. It's a very popular video. Everybody's working, working, working. All the rats are going in suits and being on a treadmill. All this is all that labor. When will human beings understand the dignity and grandeur of work? What is work? Work, Ramatirtha says, should be like a prince takes to sport. Should be like, the prince, he plays hide and seek with his companions. Actually, if he just does, all the companions have to come. But does he do that? He doesn't do it. Work is what you do for a higher cause, a higher vision, for something greater, nobler, vaster than yourself, where you are not a slave to the work. You're doing it in a free spirit because this is what you want to contribute to the world or to realization or whatever your vision in life. As long as we are in labor, we will have stress, strain, lacunas. This, beautifully described about how it is just an entertainment for the mind. That's how people become workaholics. They cannot sit quietly. But if you live a life of work, neither the work nor the quietude ever gives you any stress. You're just as happy working as you are happy in quietude, in solitude. There's no difference. Both are equally good. So he's described the problem. Vedanta tells you the solution. Switch over from labor to work. Yes, Bharat.
Janki ma'am,
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. You finished?
this scripture is full of the word sama, equanimity. Dvande umukta dukha sukha sange. Sama word is quite often used. It is opposite to fluctuations in life. So you say that you must go through fluctuations. At the same time, how can we be equanimous?
That's the whole point. We just discussed it. Equanimity does not refer to the mind not being affected. Equanimity refers to the intellect not being affected because of the fluctuations of the mind.
Right. Okay, this is at the level of intellect. Thank you.
Bharat?
Yeah, so an ardent desire fulfilled may not give happiness, but in a desire written pursued, if that same object is to be taken away, that is certain to be cause misery. Would that be true?
Of course. If you don't have it, you're unhappy. So therefore you think if I have it, I will be happy. That's how the mind works, right? If I don't have something today, I'm sure if I get it, I'll be happy. This is how the mind works. And the worst part is, actually, you do feel that happiness. So you're convinced. And you stay with that thing more and more, but you don't find that happiness anymore. So now you're very perplexed. What happened here? This is what anyways, function at the level of the mind. What does that mean? Discrimination is not functioning. Viveka is not functioning. Discernment is not functioning. So then all sorts of funny things are going on. I mean, there's no end to stupidity that we can do, right? Because a mind can do anything. It's like a monkey. What can a monkey do? Anything. Until discernment gets back its crown, until discrimination is placed on the top of things, there is no end to the chaos that a human being can create. Because, see, all sages have said the same thing. But as you come lower down the channel, everybody says different things. Anybody who found the truth, they all said the same thing. And then lower down, you had different, more and more different, more and more and more. Human beings have to somehow make their way to that final truth. It is the only lasting solution. Everything else is, as Sarthak says, entertainment for the mind. तो किया नहीं तो मन खाने को उठ जाएगा. If you don't do it, the mind will get up to eat you. And if you do it, you're still in the same position. That's right, Deep Raj from Saturday class. Small intellect, fierce deeds. Right. So, and tragically, remember where we are? Tragically, no deprived person is going to believe this. Who's the deprived person we are referring to?
Us.
All of us.
Follow. We will never believe. The mind doesn't wish to believe. The mind says, the pagal hai kya? What nonsense. This cannot be true. The intellect will be able to see some glimmer of truth in that. Because it's so clear, right? If I'm longing to get married and I'm not married, I'm miserable. I want a partner, I don't have a partner, I'm miserable. Why don't I look at the other people? Those who have partners, are they all happy? And if they didn't find the pleasure, what makes me think I will?
Mine says my partner is different.
Yes, my partner is different, my life is different, my laws are different. Same laws are applicable across. So the mind is like a child, it gets carried away. It is the intellect's role to hold it in possession. It's like the mind left to its own self is like a child left to its own self without a parent. Is misery as truthful as hunger? Why misery is not truthful and hunger is not truthful? Only intellect is truthful. Wherever your intellect works, you will have truth. With or without misery, with or without hunger. Okay, so happiness is not about getting more, but being acutely aware of what one is currently in receipt of. One day, your author was leaving a luxury building with a heavy heart after witnessing the bitter quarrels of a husband and wife. Last paragraph on your page. So remember our point here, no deprived person can believe that even when he gets his ardent desire, he could be no happier. Not he would be, he could be. One day, your author was leaving a luxury building with a heavy heart after witnessing the bitter quarrels of a husband and wife. How much they fought. A young boy was walking past the gate with his mother. Okay, I walked out of the building and there was a young boy walking there with his mother. A young boy was walking past the gate with his mother. He was looking with longing at that luxury complex. He said to his mother, "What a lovely building. Will we live here someday?" The tragedy one had just witnessed and the hope in the boy seemed a telling juxtaposition of life. Can you imagine that? Your heart heavy, the misery that you have just witnessed. You come out and there's a young boy there saying, "Oh, I want that." That's the philosophical moment. Is the boy doesn't know what's happening in those luxury flats. He's longing to be in there. The tragedy one had just witnessed and the hope in the boy seemed a telling juxtaposition of life. So much sorrow lies in what we associate with happiness, what we are craving for. Better, far better than to cognize what we have and be grateful for it. Doesn't realize with his mother, he is emotionally secure and happy in that relationship, holding her hand and walking. But those people could not hold hands. And he wants that. And they come down and watched, a emotionally happy thing. They said, "I want that." And each one is looking somewhere and saying, "I want that, I want that." But nobody is saying, "Thank you for what I have." Interesting, very, very interesting. Our only right is to give, to serve. Be content to serve, pleaded Christ 2,000 years ago. Oh, should have changed this, 2,500 years ago. He said, be content to serve. Why is it so difficult for us? Be content to serve. Oh, good day for us to remember Christ, right? Be content to serve. Your only right is to give, is to serve. Be content to serve, pleaded Christ 2,000 years ago. And the best way to repay the received bounty is to become his instrument for fulfilling others' needs. You have received this bounty, you've got it all ready. Now, why can't we become his instrument for fulfilling others' needs rather than be a spanner in the works of his grand scheme? Slowly let the awareness tune into his design. Recognize, appreciate, and serve. So, the starting point of unselfishness is to become unselfish, is to become grateful. When you become grateful, you realize that, no, I have so much. And now that I have so much, what am I supposed to do? I can only become an instrument of his peace. What else can I do? Oh Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is discord, let me sow harmony. Make me an instrument of thy peace. What else am I supposed to do over here? There is a grand scheme of things. There is a way this universe operates. There are laws that are governing it. Why can't I just see it, appreciate it, and play my part? Why can't I restrict my activities to that? And if I did do that, I will be a happy, blissful person, obviously. If I did do that, all the wealth of the world will come to me. I don't even want it, it's coming. Why would I not do that? What is the secret that we humans, are not able to get? Why is it so difficult for us? I have only one role here, and that is to be of service. I have no other role here. And once I do that, I will reach the goal of human existence. What a fantastic system there is over here. If only I can understand it. So, once you have decided that I should become unselfish, the question is how to be unselfish. Okay, now you want to be unselfish. Let us see. First, we did what are the outcomes of unselfish. Then we said, how do you start becoming? Okay, now you've decided you want to. Once you have achieved gratitude, you will want to serve. Okay, now that you want to serve, now what am I supposed to do? Okay, let's see if the author has given us any ideas on that. How to be unselfish. Unselfishness is not merely occasional charity or loving just a few. It is a pervasive capacity to serve others. It rises out of a sense of identification, not just with your family and friends, but generally with people and beings. It is a feeling of oneness that manifests as constant and loving service. So, what is unselfishness? Is a sense of identification. It has to be the bottom line. It is not like I am serving you. When you get into I am serving you mold, there is an automatic assumption of my superiority. When a mother does something for a child, she does it out of identification. It's not like she doesn't think I'm going to serve my child. She feels one with the child and does whatever is necessary. And that's service. So that's where service has to come from, that you're feeling one with something. And since you're feeling one with it, you want to do you do what is the most obvious thing for it. It's not like you segregated yourself and said, okay, now I'm so wealthy, I'm going to help all these poor people. Or I'm so smart and I'm going to give my advice to everybody. It's not like that. It is a feeling that you and I are in this together, and this is what is required at the moment. So it is from identification that unselfishness is to come. It's a feeling of oneness that manifests as constant and loving service. Unselfishness is a way of life, not particular or occasional acts. By making it the base of our lives, we ensure that our life will always be one of fulfillment. Now, many people take unselfishness to mean, okay, I will do charity, I will do something for you. Occasionally, I do all these things. That's not how it is. It is a constant thing. It's just the way you are. You're not doing anything for anybody. It's just the way you are. And that's a life of fulfillment. That's when that lacuna is not there because you're feeling one with everybody. But how is it made constant? Okay, so now currently we don't have this kind of universal identification with everybody. So how are we going to make unselfishness constant? How is it made constant? By pitching up a higher goal in life, creating an ideal for life. What is an ideal? An ideal is a goal which has an unselfish intent. Okay, I want to win Wimbledon is a goal. I want to represent my country in Wimbledon and win for my country is an ideal. So whenever I have some vision beyond myself, that converts it from a goal to an ideal. So a goal may be selfish, but an ideal is always unselfish. To have one overarching higher goal for life is indeed a blessing. But if for any reason one cannot find such a goal, one can have a higher goal in every aspect of life. What is the family for? What is the work for? Is it merely to fulfill my desires, or is it for something higher? I will leave you with that thought for this week. Hari.
Thank you, Jackie.
Hari Om Jai.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.